next worst is the Chicago Bulls. So, I mean, we've already spent more time than I wanted to spend talking about those two teams because they really don't deserve it, and those franchises surely haven't been able to figure it out.
Okay.
Those are shiftless, directionless franchises.
Look at you.
That are completely moribund, and again, we don't need to spend more time talking about them. The question now becomes, with those two teams that won last night, the Dallas Mavs and the Miami Heat, do we expect those teams to be able to actually punch their ticket and get into the postseason?
Well, now you get interesting because Miami's about to take on the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
And talk about star-crossed people.
An underdog, again, by the way, which really doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. Based on what I saw from the Atlanta Hawks against the Orlando Magic, how are the Miami Heat another? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
See, here's the deal with that whole thing, what you just said. That's Las Vegas's way, or even ESPN Bet's way of saying, bzzz, how many suckers can we get to go on that side when it comes to taking a team? Because I'm not trusting the Atlanta Hawks at all. There's no way I'm trusting that basketball team in a one-and-done situation because I saw what that looked like against Orlando.
Yeah.
And now you got a Miami Heat team coming in thinking, man, we know you can't beat us in a playoff situation. One way or another, you guys will self-destruct. I don't feel that way about Dallas and Memphis. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas beats Memphis. It would not because here's why it would not surprise me.
Okay.
Not saying they're going to have a Klay Thompson turn back the clock moment again.
But you saw it last night in the second quarter.
Like I said.
You saw it last night. Klay gave him 16 in the second quarter, 4 from 3. You got it last night.
Yeah, those are one-time options right there.
Okay.
So you can go to the store the next day.
You're saying that's a one-off.
Right.
We can't assign on Friday. Okay.
No, but I can assign it to Jason Kidd being a proven. You talk about proven playoff coaches, like you mentioned Eric Spoelstra of Miami. Yeah. I've seen what Jason Kidd has done as a playoff basketball coach with the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah. I'll trust that in more than one of those situations.
Over Thomas Isolo.
Oh, yeah, or whoever he is. I'm sure the Isolo family has lovely family reunions wherever that happens in the summertime. But also Ja Morant being injured, you don't know what that's going to look like tomorrow. So I could see Dallas winning that game. I for damn sure can see Miami doing the same thing to an Atlanta team, which Trae Young decided to go off the rails and whatever that is. They have a talented
team. Wanted to get showered up, get ready to go.
I guess so. Wanted to put the hair gel in or something, I guess.
Wanted to get ready to go.
I guess, but I mean, Tyler Hero's not going to get you 38 tomorrow, but he won't have to. Yeah. Because Eric Spoelstra knows how to deploy guys that understand what the playoff heat culture mentality is going to be. And if you're Miami, now you're going to be potentially the 8th seed. That's not going to be an easy series for the Cleveland Cavaliers with Eric Spoelstra on one side. And if the Dallas Mavericks win and able to find a way against the Memphis Grizzlies, they're not beating the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they're going to make them sweat a little bit. Yeah. So it's not going to be an easy series, even though I don't believe those 8th seeds in Miami and Dallas are going to find a way to get to the second round of the NBA playoffs.
No, because you've got a date with the Oklahoma City Thunder and you got a date with the Cleveland Cavaliers. The two best teams in their respective conferences, the two best records in the entire NBA. So, no, I don't expect that the Dallas Mavs are going to find a way to go on a deep playoff run. I don't think they're going to make it a long series with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I get it. People will point to the regular season record and say, oh, the Mavs were 3-1 against OKC. But the last time those two teams played was in January.
Thank you.
So that was before the Luka Doncic trade, before a lot of different things happened, the Kyrie Irving injury, so on and so forth. This is a different Mavs team, and they just, quite frankly, don't have the firepower to threaten OKC. I don't think the Memphis Grizzlies have what it takes to threaten the Oklahoma City Thunder. Whoever they play, whoever that 8th seed ends up being in the Western Conference, that's going to be light work. Yeah. That is a gentleman's sweep. Yeah. Point blank, period.
To me, Memphis shot their shot and lost their shot against Golden State.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If we're saying which 8th seed has the better chance of making it a long series in the first round, I guess I would go with the Eastern Conference team.
Me too.
But I think people disrespect the Cleveland Cavaliers on a level that just does not make any sense. Yeah. And that team is outright dominant as well. And I don't think either one of those teams, whether it's Miami or the Atlanta Hawks, match up particularly well.
He's Chris Canty and Freddie Coleman, part of Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive protects your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, and RV, and could save you money. Do yourself a favor and visit Progressive.com. And what could the Lakers and the Warriors of this year have in common with the Chicago Bulls of the 1990s. We'll give you that after CC has this word for you from ESPN Bet. And Michelle Smallman on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80, and also ESPN2. Brother Chris Canty, look at you, Mr. Money Line. Letting everybody know what time it was, and it worked out last night for you and the Miami Heat.
Oh, for sure. But again, it was a can't lose. Either way, we were going to win, right? Because if the Miami Heat win, we make money. Kev Lowe, Lucchini falling from the sky. But if the Miami Heat lose, then we get to make fun of Evan Cohen in this hope springs eternal about the Miami Heat being able to go on a deep playoff run.
See, that's the wonderful thing about you, that you know how to read the room. You understand exactly that if the room dictates this, that's where we go to that part of the room.
For sure.
And the room was there.
I'm all about making the best content for the show. What's in the best interest of the show? I am rooting for us, Freddie Coleman.
Absolutely. You got
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So when we start going with the best bet, of course, having a tie into the show only makes it that much more spicy.
Yeah. The one thing that really helped your bet is that the Bulls continue to be in purgatory. That's just how that goes.
But that's crazy, though, because the Bulls were playing great ball to end the season. They had won 6 of their final 7 games. They were building all of this momentum. And it just reminds you that it's hard to trust what you see from the teams that are at the bottom of the conference standings at the end of the season. It's hard to believe that it's something substantive. It's more of the apathy of the teams that they're playing against as opposed to a product of an organization, a team being able to figure something out.
Yeah, I keep warning people, and, I'm tired of being right when it comes to stuff like this. Do not allow past events in the regular season to influence exactly what's going to happen in a playoff situation.
Yes.
Because plenty of people said when it came to the Dallas Mavericks, oh, that poor organization, Nico Harrison, general manager, boo, boo, you guys are going to be out of there. Hey, the Chicago Bulls, get rid of Tyler Hero and the Miami Heat. You guys are playing so well. And what happened last night? Yeah, the Chicago Bulls, they laid an egg at home. And then the Sacramento Kings said, I'll see your egg and give you a goose egg and raise a bigger egg at home. So this is from Professor Coleman. Do not let events in the regular season influence your playoff mindset, because playoff basketball, playoff sports is far more intensive, is a lot different than what you saw no matter in the regular season or at the end of the regular season.
Yeah, but then you also got to take into account the coaching disparity, right? The Miami Heat have one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the sport, in Eric Spoelstra. And let's just say that is not the Chicago Bulls situation with Billy Donovan.
Yeah, well, by the way,
it's not the situation with him.
If you're the Chicago Bulls, and I'm glad you brought this up in terms of that coaching disparity, because we had that last night when you had Doug Christie on one side for Sacramento and Jason Kidd on the other side for the Dallas Mavericks. And specifically, when it comes to Billy Donovan in Chicago and then Eric Spoelstra in Miami, if you're the Chicago Bulls, what kind of organizational decisions are you going to have to think about? For the third straight year, your team has been in a play-in situation.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that curve is going up. It seems that you're like, you're flatlining.
I just don't know how much runway you give him. I get that he had a lot of success at Florida and at OKC. That's all well and good.
Right.
But what we saw from him at other stops in the NBA, it feels like it's more of a byproduct of what those front offices did as opposed to what he's done.
Okay.
Because he's been in Chicago for 5 years and they had but one winning season. How much runway does a coach supposed to get? Now, I ain't sitting here trying to get somebody fired. No, I'm not calling for Billy Donovan's job, but I'm just acknowledging that in last night's loser-go-home scenario, I don't know why we didn't have more faith in the Miami Heat being able to go on the road and get that done. I was surprised that the Heat, according to ESPN Bet at the end of my show yesterday, they were the underdog going into that game. And I guess everybody wanted to assign a certain level of performance to the Chicago Bulls based on what we had seen throughout the month of March.
Right.
But they just not that team. They're not that team, and they don't have that experience. Conversely, when you got guys like Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, they know what it's like going on a deep playoff run. They know what it's like playing in the NBA Finals. And that was on full display in the first quarter where Tyler Hero goes off for 16 points and doesn't miss a shot from the field. Doesn't miss a shot.
Yep.
They were absolutely dialed in, and then they were connected on the defensive end of the court. They had 18 turnovers that generated 26 points for the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero, of his 39 points, 20 of that came in the paint.
Yeah.
They understand what playoff basketball is all about, and you had a group in the Chicago Bulls led by Kobe White that just doesn't get it.
Yeah, no doubt. Chris Canty, Freddie Coleman together on Sportsman-like, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, as well as SiriusXM Channel 80 and ESPN2. Everything you said is spot on involving the Chicago Bulls. Everything that you said is spot on with the Miami Heat. Here's the deal if you're an organization, because think about this, the Chicago Bulls. They have not been that same team. They have not been that same organization ever since Derrick Rose tore his ACL in that series against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yep.
When they left him in the ball game, they're up by 20-plus points, less than 3 minutes to play. And I remember watching that game, and that Saturday afternoon, I'm thinking, why is he still in that ball game when that issue is no longer in doubt? And then he tore his ACL, and that organization has never, ever recovered. That has been kind of like their 28-3 involving the Atlanta Falcons. That has been along the lines of the New York Jets having a 10-0 lead in the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos, and then the Broncos win, and the Jets never recovered after that as well. Certain things can happen in an organization that can lead to, okay, why do they keep doing the same things over and over and over again, meaning not making the best decisions? That's where the Bulls are. That's where the Sacramento Kings are. Dallas has not made great decisions either. I mean, come on. We know about the whole Luka Doncic trade, and Nico hasn't taken all the smoke. But certain organizations always seem to find a way to get in their own way. And we saw that manifest itself last night in Chicago and in Sacramento with both of these organizations who I don't think right now have any idea how to get whatever train they need to find to get back on the winning track that they thought they were on not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they're both places right now that are irrelevant when it comes to the conversation around the NBA.
You use the I word.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. People don't care about what's going on in Sacramento, and people have become apathetic to what's happened with the Chicago Bulls.
True.
That's the worst place to be in sports. I mean, I know a lot of people always look at what's going on with the Dallas Mavericks and Nico Harrison, the Fire Nico chants, the closed door media session. That was weird. The explanations that seemingly don't make a lot of sense, and the vitriol, the backlash that comes along with that. People think that's bad.
Right.
What's